Chapter 40, An Angry Ranjing. After Su Cheng washed his face and walked to the living room, he saw Ranjing coming back from work. On her way back, she had been wondering what kind of sacred being this Su Cheng guy was. The more she came into contact with him, the more difficult she felt it was to see through the guy. Professional gun assembling skills, accurate marksmanship, coupled with the fight at the gym and those insanely quick steps caught on the surveillance footage, Ranjing still couldn't link Su Cheng with those hidden urban legends that existed in movies and novels. Didn't he look a bit too young to be a hidden master? After returning home and pushing through the door, she saw Su Cheng in his tank top walking around in the living room looking for snacks. Ranjing looked at him from top to bottom, staring at him as if she was trying to see through him. Su Cheng obviously felt that pair of eyes, and he turned around in confusion and asked Ranjing, "Why are you looking at me like a sexual predator? Is this really okay?" And this remark made it even more difficult for Ranjing to see through Su Cheng. Shouldn't an urban legend be someone that had a silent, ice-cold, and prideful disposition? Ranjing felt like Su Cheng didn't look nor act like a master in disguise at all. You could claim that he was a pervert, yet he could remain unmoved in front of two beautiful girls living under the same roof as him. You could also claim that he was serious and calm, yet sometimes the way he talked just didn't match up at all. It was simply too difficult to figure out this guy. "What did you do before coming to Shangcheng?" Ranjing asked Su Cheng in curiosity. Su Cheng took a sip of cold mineral water and said, "I was a soldier." Shen Yao, who was sitting on the sofa, just asked for no reason, "Hey, I heard that it's pretty tough on you guys that serve in the military. Some of you might not even get to see a girl in a few years. What happens if you can't hold it in anymore? Is there a higher chance of people coming out of the closet in the military?" This is indeed a topic worth pondering. Su Cheng grinned. "I'm not sure about the others, but I'm not gay. Didn't you prove that already?" Shen Yao's eyes opened up wide. "What does that have to do with me?" Shen Yao saw Ranjing giving her a weird look. The thing was, what Su Cheng said gave too much room for interpretation. She immediately looked towards Ranjing. "Don't listen to his nonsense, there's nothing going on between us." Ranjing didn't plan on letting Su Cheng change the topic and quickly followed up with another question, "What was your unit?" "A normal unit." Su Cheng asked, a bit puzzled, "Why do you ask?" "Nothing." Ranjing pouted her ruby lips. "But I don't believe that you were an ordinary soldier. Are you implying that an ordinary one can beat up a SWAT member like he's a kid, and assemble a gun like it's a simple toy? Judging by your skills and comprehensive strength, saying that you were an ordinary soldier is underestimating you." After Su Cheng dryly laughed twice, he indifferently replied, "You got me." Then, he immediately tensed up, causing the atmosphere to become serious right away. Ranjing and Shen Yao both narrowed their eyes. If this was like the movies, this should be the moment when the main character was going to unveil his true form, right? Just as the two were looking forward to it, Su Cheng took in a deep breath and said, "Then I guess I can't hide it anymore. My real name actually isn't Su Cheng. My surname is actually my full name is Awesome." After he said that, he detected two pairs of eyes emitting murderous intent looking towards him. Shen Yao immediately said to Ranjing, "Did you know that last night, this guy used 100 yuan and 110 rounds consecutively, turning it into 100,000 yuan? Don't you also want to know how he did it?" Ranjing squinted her eyes, looked towards Su Cheng, and slowly said, "I also wanted to ask how he traveled 20 meters in just 2 seconds. Bolt's world record on the 100-meter sprint was 9.69 seconds, which means that Bolt can do about 10 meters per second. But I'm curious as to how you managed to do it without any warm-up under such urgent circumstances." Shen Yao grew a bit curious too as she asked Ranjing, "What are you talking about?" Ranjing faintly smiled as she looked at Su Cheng with the "don't play dumb" expression and said, "My colleagues are studying his speed right now. This guy saved a group of elementary school students and prevented a horrible car accident, not to mention, also helping us arrest a drug user. We had eyes on that guy for a long time, yet we lost him after he suddenly drove away under the influence of drugs. We would indeed be at fault if the car accident happened, so I would like to thank you for preventing that accident. Su Cheng said, since you want to thank me, then don't make it look like you are trying to investigate my entire history, it's making me a bit nervous, alright. After speaking, he got ready to resume his physical exercise. You are not allowed to go. Tell me, how did you guess if the dice were going to be big or small? Shen Yao got up and pulled onto Su Cheng's tank top, making it stretch until it was as long as a dress. It caused the tank top to start breaking from the front, popping out Su Cheng's muscular chest, and the two girls' eyes immediately opened up as they gulped down the saliva in their mouths. Su Cheng was speechless, so he could only try to trick them again. Do you know how to solve a Rubik's Cube? Shen Yao shook her head. Not really, I think it's too difficult. Su Cheng nodded. That's the difference between your brain and mine. By the same logic, the principles behind dice reading are about the same as reading a Rubik's Cube. You won't understand even if I tell you. Then, he prepared to leave, yet Shen Yao's slender hands gripped on his tank top even harder. Who are you trying to trick? Tell me right now or I'm going to rip your top like how you ripped my dress yesterday. Su Cheng turned around. Come on, while you are at it, you can rip my pants too. It will make things easier for me. Pervert. Shen Yao glared at him. Big sister, I already told you, I was really just using my ears to listen to how the dice move. Just now, your heartbeat was even faster than when we had that stare down and I told you that you had eye boogers. Can I understand it as my muscles pulling your heartstrings? Shen Yao, get the fuck out. Su Cheng shook his head, smiled, and was prepared to leave, yet Shen Yao actually started believing that there was something going on with Su Cheng's hearing. You can really hear people's heartbeats? Su Cheng turned around and looked at her. Probably. Shen Yao looked towards Ran Jing. Do you believe him? Ran Jing looked towards Su Cheng. Then tell me if my heartbeat right now is fast or slow. Su Cheng faintly smiled. Answering that question isn't enough to show how awesome I am. But, I can tell you that, when you came out of the elevator and were about to open the door, you wanted to protect your ladylike image, so you secretly let out a fart in the corridor. It was pretty quiet, but I heard it. Ran Jing stood there with her whole face red like a tomato as she stared at Su Cheng. Finally, she trembled with anger as she pointed at Su Cheng and said, Su Cheng, you are destined to die alone. Su Cheng didn't seem like he really cared as he just turned around and snorted, all good, I'm married anyways. Right after he left, Ran Jing already threw away the esteemed, intelligent, and calm criminal police captain image and went berserk. I'll curse you so that you are die alone. Ah! Shen Yao stared blankly at the wild woman in front of her eyes and knew that Su Cheng probably got it right.